So all these four things के अंदर सब उसके अंदर सब बाबा ने पूरी किताब उसकी उसी के अंदर समझाई है. One is natural light, capital N, capital L. Natural light is equal to self. It is equal to self, is equal to God. If you want some further explanation, I can give you. Okay, if you want, you can take down is equal to self, is equal to real I, is equal to real mind, is equal to mind stopped, is equal to God, is equal to intelligence, capital I wala intelligence, is equal to sound sleep in awake state. यानी you are awake in sound sleep. That is the meaning of God realization. God realization या self realization means that in your sound sleep you are awake, which is actually a dichotomy. There are two opposite things. In our sound sleep, we are not awake. We lose consciousness. But here, this is consciousness of unconsciousness. That is the meaning of Aham Brahmasmi state or Anal Haq state or I am God state or self-realization state. So this is all concerning natural light. Now this natural light that we are talking about, we are digressing, but एक time आप format बना देंगे तो फिर थोड़ा easy हो जाएगा. This natural light that we are talking about is conscious natural light, which means mind stopped or God. Whereas unconscious natural light जो है, that is no mind state, no mind state. In the Paratpar Parbrahma state or the beyond God state, God is, but consciousness is not. The unconscious natural light is equal to no mind, that means no intelligence. Am I clear? So this is main पहला मुद्दा ये है कि natural light is equal to self, is equal to the real I, is equal to mind stopped. Mind stopped means doesn't mean that there is no mind. Mind stopped means मनोनाश. जो हम मनोनाश की बात करते हैं, फना. In Sufi term it is known as fana. Mind stopped is equal to God, is equal to real mind, is equal to intelligence, is equal to sound sleep in awake state. Capital S sound, capital S sleep, capital A awake. That is the state of realization. Clear? Now we come to the second state. Second state we have done is natural darkness. बराबर? Natural darkness हमने बताया is equal to spirit. Okay, चेतना. Is that natural darkness? नहीं तो मैं लखे लूँ. Natural darkness, it is the essence of light. The essence of light is darkness. In other words, what gives the astitva of light as light is the darkness. If there is no darkness, then you will not be able to distinguish light or you will not be able to appreciate light. हमने discourses वगैरह में किया था कि if there is no evil, you cannot recognize and appreciate and accept good. Because if everything was on the same platform, it is the evil that makes the good good. It is the darkness which gives value to light. Right? So this natural darkness is the essence of light, which is equal to spirit, which is equal to nothingness, which is equal to khuda or khoda, as we say, which is equal to sound sleep state, which is equal to sound sleep state. That is, we are in the natural darkness. Every single day, when we go into the sound sleep state, that means when we are, but the consciousness that we are is not there, then that is the exact state of the beyond God state or Paratpar Parbrahma state. That means we are actually, all of us are dwelling, living in the beyond state of God for those few moments or minutes or hours, and that is why when we wake up, we feel refreshed. That means there is nothing besides God. God is indivisible, inalienable. It cannot be divided, and therefore every single night or every single day, whenever somebody goes in sound sleep during the day also. So whenever we enter that particular state of consciousness, which is known as sound sleep state, that sound sleep state is known as the natural darkness. Natural darkness. But if we were to go in that sound sleep state, and still remain awake, then that is natural light. Sound sleep in awake state is natural light. All right, so ये दो state हो गया. Now we go to the third state, which is unnatural darkness. Unnatural darkness is equal to mind working. Right now we are all in unnatural darkness. Mind working. Anything that is perceived through the help of the mind is an illusion. Is Brahm, is not the truth, is not the reality. Because the very yantra, the mind, through which we are perceiving everything, that mind itself is false, and therefore everything it perceives is also false. Right? Unnatural darkness is equal to mind working, is equal to false I. False I. I am this, I am that. I am a man, I am a woman. I am rich, I am poor. I am beautiful, I am ugly. High, low, easterner, westerner, all these are false I is equal to egoism, is equal to banda. Banda means slave or slave, is equal to subtle and gross imagination. Even in the dream state, when we are dreaming, when we go to sleep, when we dream, it is the mind which is dreaming, which is giving an imagination by the use of your subtle body. Dream, after all, is what? You are using your subtle body to experience the gross experiences based on our karmas, based on our sanskaras. But we have not become subtle conscious, but we are using the subtle body subconsciously, not consciously. Whereas people who are on the spiritual path, जो बाबा ने path बताया है वो, those people use their subtle acumen or subtle perceptions consciously. That means they are conscious that they are on the spiritual plane and they use that subtle body in a conscious manner. Whereas we use the subtle body in a subconscious manner in the dream state. And our experiences are only related to the gross. And that is why, although we are sleeping with our mouth closed, we are talking with our eyes closed, we are seeing things with our ears not functioning because the mind is in a dream state. We are hearing. So although our mouth is closed and our eyes are closed, we are actually imagining so many things. How? Through our subtle senses. Yeah. We are using the subtle body subconsciously. Yes, when we are dreaming that. But the same subtle consciousness, if you are using it in an awake state, then that is, you are on the path. Subconscious, in a dream state you are subconscious. In a sound sleep state you are unconscious. In a dream state you are actually using your mind. But in the sound sleep state, your mind is at rest. There is no manonash, there is no mind state. The mind becomes latent. The mind is temporarily not functioning. It is at rest. But when the mind actually becomes nullified or annihilated, that is the final stage, fana state. That is the meaning of manonash. Right? So when we are in the sound sleep state, there is no manonash. It is only temporarily resting in abeyance. And what makes us wake up in the morning again are our own sanskaras. Sanskaras are nothing but energies of impressions that we have gathered through our past karma, past actions. And those impressions or those sanskaras again goad us and wake us up into action every morning. And the fourth state now is unnatural light. Fourth state, unnatural light, which is the body and the universe, and all this is Maya. Now this, we have to keep it in mind all the time when we talk about this book. Natural light, natural darkness, unnatural light. Self, spirit, mind, body. In simple terms, then so many other explanations have been given. These four states are encompassed in the game of consciousness. These are the only four states which the game of consciousness goes on with. And again I repeat, everything that happens to anybody happens only to the consciousness of the soul and not to the soul. The soul remains untouched, untarnished, unaffected, absolutely tathast and still. Soul does not experience anything. So you see, it is the consciousness of the soul which experience all these things, right? In God Speaks, it is all very clearly given. The sanskars never get attached to the soul. In loose parlance, we do say that the soul is affected and the soul goes through this.
Consciousness.
We just say it in a very loose talk that soul goes, the soul doesn't go through. And बार बार हमने ये क्या example दिया है, and I repeat it for the sake of those who are new, because assuming that the full moon is shining very brilliantly high up in the sky, very brilliantly, very majestic, very royal. The reflection of the moon is in the water body down, either it is a lake or a pond or a river or a bucket or a whatever it is. And when the water shakes over there, the experience, the Brahm, the Bhas, the Maya, the illusion is that the moon is shaking. You see that the moon is actually shaking. But actually, in truth, moon is absolutely undisturbed, untouched, unaffected, not concerned with the shaking of the water. But when the water shakes, our experience or anubhav is that the moon is shaking. In the same way, our soul does not shake. Nothing happens to the soul. Everything happens to the consciousness of the soul, you see, which in itself has to be given up finally. Right? So, coming back to Baba says these 4 states are encompassed. We have done the 4 states fairly well now. These 4 states are encompassed in the game of consciousness. The whole of this creation is a game. Baba says life is a game in which you must. It's a game. It's like a game of hide and seek. Hide and seek मालूम है चोर पुलिस खेलते हैं बच्चे लोग. The whole of life is like playing a game of hide and seek in which you have to find your real self. The whole game is like that. And once we understand and appreciate everything that happens in our life as a game, then to a very great extent we remain less affected or totally unaffected. We play the game and we forget about the hurt and harm and all that. In the game you may shout or you may swear or you may beat up somebody, but at the end of the game we are all friends. It's like that. So the other thing is, the whole of this creation is nothing but an incubator in which the consciousness of the soul incubates. So the entire creation is nothing but a divine or a spiritual incubator in which the consciousness of the soul incubates from unconscious divinity to conscious divinity. Everyone and everything is divine. The divinity is the platform, the given. And only thing is, because we are not conscious of ourselves as divine, we experience all these things. So the whole so-called journey is nothing but a journeying from unconscious divinity to conscious divinity. Coming back to these 4 states are encompassed in the game of consciousness, which lies latent in sound sleep, dreams, in both ordinary human dreaming and in the divine dream of the planes. Ordinary human dreaming is all that we are dreaming now. And when people start walking or treading the spiritual path, which is known as the involutionary journey, Adhyatmik Raha, where the aspirant puts his first step on the first plane of consciousness, that is, and he starts dreaming. The dream continues, but that dream is known as the divine dream. Whereas our dream is the ordinary dream. So whether it's an ordinary human dream or a divine dream of the planes, and comes to full wakefulness in ordinary human awareness as well as in divine awakening of God realization. ये 4 जो है, we are either dreaming, or we are either dreaming the divine dream or ordinary dream, or either we are in this so-called awake state, or we are into real awake state, which is the state of God realization.
4 अवस्थाएं चेतना के खेल में अंतर्निहित रहती है. चेतना गहरी निद्रा तथा दोनों प्रकार के स्वप्नों जैसे सामान्य मानवीय स्वप्न में और आध्यात्मिक भूमिकाओं के दैवी स्वप्न में सुसुप्त रहती है, और सामान्य मानवीय जागृति में तथा ईश्वर साक्षात्कार की दैवी जागृति में यह पूर्ण जागृत अवस्था में आ जाती है. ईश्वर को अर्थात बंधन में पड़े मनुष्य को अज्ञान की अवस्थाओं, अस्वाभाविक अंधकार और अस्वाभाविक प्रकाश में जो कुछ संपन्न करना चाहिए वह है मन के समस्त क्रियाकलापों की संपूर्ण समाप्ति।
तो यहाँ पर बाबा कहते हैं what God in the states of ignorance. Very beautifully in God Speaks also Baba refers to God in the vegetable state, God in the bird state, God in the animal state, God in the human state. That means the God is the given thing, there is nothing besides God. So here Baba says, what God in the states of ignorance, we are all God in the states of ignorance, which is what? Unnatural darkness and unnatural light, which is what? Mind and body, or mind and universe. We have done that. So now every now and then when we do this unnatural, natural, we have to revise that. Okay, in the states of unnatural darkness and unnatural light, which means God in the state of ignorance. So God in the states of ignorance, which is unnatural darkness and must bring to pass, क्या करना है उनको, is the complete cessation of all activities of the mind. So what is required is, it is so beautiful that man, which has been instrumental in evolving consciousness, has to finally be annihilated in order to realize God. Man jo hai, that was the instrument in evolving the consciousness from the gaseous state, the stone, metals, minerals, and we have done all that, vegetable, earthworms and things, and worms and all that, insects, birds, fish, birds, animal, and then human being. Finally human being में full and complete consciousness हो गया. कैसे हुआ? Because of the man, because of the mind. The very mind which was instrumental in the evolution of consciousness finally has to be annihilated. यानी उसका भस्म होना है, उसका नाश होना है, मनोनाश करना है. You getting me? So that same yantra, mind, which was instrumental in giving us consciousness, which will only be, its function will only be fulfilled or accomplished with the annihilation, total annihilation of the mind. And that total annihilation of the mind can never happen with the mind itself. It has to happen only by the grace of a living perfect master or the avatar who's the eternal living perfect master. बाबा ने एग्जाम्पल दिया है, एक एग्जाम्पल दिया है कि अगर हमको अपने आप को खाना है, means we have to eat ourselves or we have to devour ourselves. बस एक एग्जाम्पल दिया है hypothetical कि you start eating yourself, fingers, elbows, this thing, that thing. Supposing you are able to eat everything, ultimately you come to a point when the mouth has to eat the mouth. वो नामुमकिन है. When the mouth has to eat the mouth, it is not possible. At that time, the grace is giving an example that this is not next to impossible, but it is impossible, and therefore only the grace of a perfect master or a Sadguru or a Kutub, and there are only 5 at any given point in time, or the avatar, the Rasul-e-Khuda, the Sahib-e-Zaman, the God in human form, only he as the eternal perfect master can help do that particular last bit of the job. So यहाँ पे बाबा कहते हैं, it must bring to pass is a complete cessation of mental activity of the mind. Though yogis try to accomplish this through various techniques of concentration, yogi का जो रास्ता है, yogi, height of yogis, this thing will be samadhi, and that is not the end of it. जो समाधि में जो जाते हैं, that is not the end, that is not a manonash. The moment samadhi is over, he is back to square one. उनके संस्कार जो है वो temporarily for a short time, that short time may be for several years or several lifetimes, but only it remains suspended. वो सुप्त अवस्था में रहता है, latent अवस्था में रहता है, उसका नाश नहीं होता है. And therefore the path through surrenderance to a perfect master is a much higher path than the path which is adopted by yogis through meditation, concentration, and any other type of spiritual techniques. So Baba यहाँ कहते हैं, Meher Baba explains, though yogis try to accomplish this through various techniques of concentration, Meher Baba explains that this method runs up against almost insurmountable difficulties. However, the God realized perfect master Salik Guru. You must understand that during, this is written in 1925, that during those time, Baba used to use the word Salik, even in the Aarti, the word used is Salik. So Salik is equal to the Guru or the perfect master during those time. Then later on, Baba has again like bifurcated Salik as a God realized master, having simultaneous consciousness of creation and his a whole body, but with no duty. Whereas a perfect master, again God realized, retaining God realized state of infinite power, knowledge, and bliss, coming down all the seven planes of consciousness and having the consciousness of creation as well as everything around the entire creation, and also has a duty to perform towards humanity. So that is the perfect master or the Sadguru. But उस जमाने में Baba was using the word Salik. So यहाँ पे है, however, the God realized perfect master Salik Guru can silence the mind in an instant. When the mind is thus eternally silenced, the infinite ego of God experiences the sound sleep in awake state. That is what I was saying. Sound sleep in awake state. The link between consciousness and the mind, which is unnatural darkness, is broken. The spirit sees the self, and the goal of existence, which is to experience God realization, is attained.
यद्यपि योगी इसे एकाग्रता के विभिन्न कौशल से प्राप्त करने का प्रयास करते हैं, किंतु मेहर बाबा स्पष्ट करते हैं कि यह विधि लगभग अविजय कठिनाइयों के विपरीत युद्ध करने जैसी है। फिर भी ईश्वर साक्षात्कार प्राप्त सद्गुरु सालिक गुरु मन को एक क्षण में मौन कर सकते हैं। इस प्रकार जब मन अनंत पूर्ण मौन हो जाता है, तब ईश्वर का अनंत अहम जागृत अवस्था में रहते हुए भी गहरी निद्रा का अनुभव करता है। चेतना और मन स्वाभाविक अंधकार एवं अस्वाभाविक अंधकार के बीच की कड़ी टूट जाती है और चेतना अब स्वत्व को देखती है या आत्म स्वरूप हो जाती है तथा अस्तित्व का लक्ष्य ईश्वर साक्षात्कार प्राप्त हो जाता है।
That is why we started with the prayer, mind stopped is God. नो माइंड नहीं, माइंड होना है, माइंड पूरा एवोल्यूशन ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस करने के बाद माइंड स्टॉप्ड इज गॉड, माइंड वर्किंग इज मैन, हमारा वर्किंग, उसमें से किसी का माइंड वर्किंग फास्ट इज मैड, और इसमें से शायद और किसी का माइंड स्लोड डाउन इज मस्ट आर दोज spiritually intoxicated in their love for God. So that is so mind, we have to reach the state of mind stop, ya manonash. Right? And when the mind is stopped, because mind makes us perceive that which is false. जो माया है, जो इल्यूजन है, जो भ्रम है, जो भास है, उसका हमको अनुभव देती है, simply because mind looks through the prism समझते हो, of samskaras or impressions, and therefore anything that anybody anubhavs or experiences is not the truth, because he experiences with his subjective mind. The truth is unchanging, steady, still. Whereas when any one episode, experience, instance, happening, occurrence, event is perceived by 5 different people, they will all perceive it differently. Although the actual happening is one, 5 different people are watching it at the same time, they will perceive it differently. The reason why they perceive it differently is because each one perceives that particular episode happening through their subjective mind. And when I say subjective mind, which means mind which is cluttered with samskaras. Samskaras means impressions of past actions. And since the samskaras or impressions of past actions with each individual mind is different, therefore the perception of that one episode happening is different with different people. And if the experience is different, then that what is happening is not the truth or the reality, because truth is one. So it is only in the state of manonash, annihilation of the mind, that we experience the truth or the reality. And that experience is one, and that experience is perennial, that experience is constant. It is not that sometimes it is there, sometimes it is not there. There's a word called infinite ego of God. हम लोग very loosely we say that ego is bad, or ego is wrong, or ego should not. Actually, ego is the truth. Ego is real. Baba says ego cannot be annihilated. Ego is transformed or transmuted. But the mind has to be annihilated. And with the final annihilation of the mind, the ego gets transmuted from false ego to this real ego or infinite ego of God. There are three types of egos, Baba would explain. My understanding of Baba's explanation is that there is what is known as the original ego, which is in the beyond state of God, the Vara ul Vara state, the Parat Par Brahma state, or Gaheb ul Gaheb state, which means that is the state where God is, but consciousness is not. That is the original ego. But that original ego has no matlab, because God is, but there is no consciousness. For example, in my sound sleep state, I am, but I am not aware or conscious that I am. So what is the matlab, what is the purpose of my being and not being aware that I am being? Am I making sense? तो हमारे ईश्वर प्रभु ने क्या किया कि मजा नहीं आता उसमें, परात पर परब्रह्म स्टेट में मजा नहीं आता. इट शुड बी दैट माय बीइंग शुड बी देयर, एंड एट द सेम टाइम आई शुड नो दैट आई एम गॉड. आई शुड बी अवेयर दैट आई एम गॉड. सो क्या हो गया, in the intervening period between the original ego and the real ego of I am God, there is this false ego. I am this, I am that. नेटी नेटी वेद पुकारे, हम आरती में जो गाते हैं वो. सो आई एम अ स्टोन, आई एम अ मेटल, आई एम अ मिनरल, आई एम अ फिश, आई एम अ बर्ड, आई एम अ एनिमल, आई एम अ ह्यूमन बीइंग, आई एम अ मैन, आई एम अ वुमन, आई एम रिच, आई एम पुअर, आई एम ईस्टर्नर, वेस्टर्नर, हेल्दी, सिक, अगली, ब्यूटीफुल, जो भी वो सब ऑपोजिट्स के जरिए नेटी नेटी करके आई एम नॉट दिस, आई एम नॉट करके अल्टीमेटली यू गेट द आंसर टू दैट हु एम आई, द फर्स्ट ओरिजिनल क्वेश्चन एज I am God. So in other words, what I am coming to is that there is an original ego, then there is a long period of false ego, I am this, that, and then finally there is the real ego, I am God. But the ego is there. What I am trying to say is ego cannot be annihilated. The mind has to be annihilated, and the ego has to be transmuted or transformed from its falsity to reality, from duality to unity, from dream state to awake state, from manyness to oneness. So that is the final experience of Aham Brahmasmi or I am God state.
यह वही विषय है, पुरातन किंतु समकालीन, जिसके बारे में अवतार ने सस्ते कागज पर अपने अवतरण काल में प्रारंभिक वर्षों में किसी समय पेंसिल से यह विवरण लिखे. यद्यपि इस विषय पर अनेकों स्पष्टीकरण तथा अधिक प्रकाश डालने का कार्य बाद के दशकों में होता रहा, किंतु वह सब जिसे मन को अनंत वास्तव में समझने की आवश्यकता है, वह सब यहाँ इस पांडुलिपि में पहले से ही संचित था. सचमुच इन 39 पृष्ठों में अनेकों पुस्तकों के समतुल्य ज्ञान समाहित है.
This is the theme. This is the theme. ध्यान से रखना, हमारा फॉर्मूला जो है वो. This is the theme. Ancient but contemporary. Ancient यानी पुरातन है, contemporary यानी समकालीन. I just remember one something. बाबा तो हम लोग जानते हैं, वो जो कभी वो जो कहाँ भी जाता है तो उनके जो let me put it this way, his demands are very specific and he was very meticulous, very specific and very up to date, आज की तारीख वाला. तो when Neeraj used to go and ask कि भाई हमारे जो बड़े भैया है उसको ये चाहिए, वो ऐसा एग्जैक्ट ऐसा होना चाहिए, ऐसा मॉडर्न, तो किसी ने बताया कि he seems to be a very modern person. तो हीरज बोलता है, no, he is very ancient. No, he is very ancient करके. पूरा तो नहीं, he is supposed to be the ancient one. So concerning the actual manuscript and its history, little is known with certainty. किसको ज़्यादा मालूम नहीं. The title page identifies it as having been written in Baba's own hand, probably in 1925. क्योंकि हम लोग जानते हैं कि बाबा ने 1925 में 13th of July 1925, after 3 days of his starting his silence of 44 years almost, on the 10th of July 1925, 3 days after that, he started writing the book, which is yet not released. And that he started writing his book first in the Jhopdi, which is known as the, what is it called? Agrakuti. Agrakuti. The first construction on the Mehrabad property, which Baba got it made according to his specific specifications as to the length and breadth and height and window कौन सा position में होना चाहिए वगैरह करके. So he started writing the book on 13th July 1925 in that Jhopdi, and then he moved on. Then he got that table cabin made, table house table cabin made, and he started writing it over there. Then he started writing it at various places, including what is known as the tomb today, was at that time known as the Khadda. It was known as the Khadda. तो वो खड्डे के अंदर बैठ के वो लिखते थे. Then later on it used to be called dome. Now it is called the tomb. तो खड्डे में जाके लिखते थे, और जहां भी जाते थे, he used to carry that book everywhere. Even when he went abroad, he carried it abroad. Then this is 1925 we are talking about, and then on the 1925 he wrote the whole thing. 1927. 1st of January 1927 he did write something. I have it somewhere. अभी नहीं है मेरे पास. And then from 2nd January 1927 he stopped writing totally. For almost 3 years he did not write anything. Then he started putting his initials or signatures wherever it was necessary to be put. राइट, फॉर एग्जाम्पल वीजा पेपर्स है या पासपोर्ट के लिए है या और कहीं बहुत सारे लेटर्स वगैरह गए तो खाली उनके इनिशियल्स या सिग्नेचर रखते थे. सो एज रमजू राइट्स हियर दैट इट इज प्रोबेबली रिटन इन 1925 because and these pages are in Baba's own hands. The handwriting of this title page is that of Ramju Abdullah. ये रमजू अब्दुल्ला ने, अगर आप देखेंगे तो पहले आगे में टाइटल पेज है, आप देखेंगे ऐसा वो पट्टी मारा है उधर. दिस वन Explanations of Spirituality, ये जो है ना, this is in handwriting of Ramju Abdullah. Ramju Abdullah was Baba's very close disciple, manly person. His son Bagu, who just passed over recently a few years back. Bagu was a very great intellectual. He used to come to our center also. And once when Pratap Ahir and myself, we were there, I think we were at his place, Pune, he said something very beautiful. That Bagu always had that inquiring mind. And ऐसे क्यों, तैसे क्यों, तैसे क्यों. तो उनके पिताजी रमजू ने बताया, words to the effect, कि ये सब जो आप पूछते हो ना, वो सब हमने पूछ के सब करके हमारे अपने आप को सेटिस्फाई किया है that Baba is the avatar of the age. आपको अभी कोई करने की जरूरत नहीं है. You simply follow him. Means we have done through that process. We have gone because they were there with Baba right through from the beginning. So we have done everything and now we are convinced. The father is telling the son, you don't need to do this all over again. I have done it and I am convinced that Baba is the one whom we are all awaiting, and you simply follow him. And then of course he agreed to. So that was Ramju Abdullah. So Ramju Abdullah states, that this is in Baba's handwriting, like he is saying that, and probably written in 1925. After commencing his long silence on July 10, 1925, for a year and a half, Meher Baba communicated primarily through writing with chalk on slates. That we know कि slate लेके घूमते थे और chalk से लिखते थे. It was during this period that with his own hand he wrote the book, which is the book which is yet unpublished, which Baba later referred to as his most important and comprehensive exposition on spirituality. जब बाबा के शरीर छोड़ने से कुछ साल पहले बाबा को पूछा गया था कि वो किताब की क्या कहाँ पे है वगैरह, तो बाबा ने इशारा जो हम लोग करते हैं ना बगल आर्मपिट के अंदर रख के, तो बाबा ने ऐसा इशारा किया और बोला that it is in a safe hand, it is safe, and that it will come out at the right time. Now what is safe, where is safe, nobody knows, I don't know, and when it will come out, we do not know. At his time, when the time is right, somehow or the other, it will reveal itself, you can say that way. Many people have tried to dig open here, there सब खोद कर लेकिन कुछ मिला नहीं. Oshang Baruch, I remember, Mansarin, I know.
Kept in Central Bank locker.
That we know. It was also once at Parviz Kelkar's home or something like that, because Parviz, when she was with us, she said कि once Baba had sent Ramju. ये बाबा का एक कमाल का तरीका था, और वो जैसे हम डिटेक्टिव गिरी बोलते हैं, he used to love detective stories and he used to do all these kinds of things, जैसे कि आपको कुछ दिया और आपको बोलेगा किसी को बताना नहीं ये दिया करके, right? Then he will take it from you and give it to somebody else. Then he will take it from there and give it some. उनके वो ऐसे वो लाइफ में, so ultimately it is all lost sight of कि कहाँ क्या है. Last it was in one of the safes, it is said in Central Bank. Yes, that is what I was told also. I think Darav Katrak also confirmed that once. I think, I'm not very sure, because he used to work for the Central Bank many years. And it was also in some New York बैंक के अंदर भी सेफ के अंदर कुछ समय के लिए रखा था. कौन सा? Surat. In Surat Bank also now Iraq says. So we really do not know where it is. The only thing that we can perhaps construe is that he knows best, and he will bring it out at the right time. So we need not really be concerned about it, because ये उनकी सृष्टि है, उनका department है. Let him do whatever he wants to do with his department and with the book. So on 1st January 1927, however, he gave up writing altogether. Now my understanding is that he did not give up on the 1st of January, my understanding, but on the 2nd of January, because there is something in writing on the 1st of January, which I had sent it out on the mail also earlier. He gave up writing altogether, except for signing his name, which he resumed after an interlude of 3 years. यानी 27 में छोड़ा, so 28, 29, 30. Sometime in 30, he must have started signing, and probably it could be because of his starting to go abroad from 1931 onwards. तो वो passport या visa के concern में होगा. And for the last 42 years of his life, he expressed himself either by means of an alphabet board or through hand gestures. We all know that on 7th of October 1954, Baba stopped using the alphabet board and thereafter only resorted to hand gestures for communicating what he needed to communicate, except once when Don Stevens requested him in one of the Savas, I don't know, 55? In 55, he had brought some team of film makers, they would like to keep on record for posterity how you used to use the alphabet board and how you dictated God speaks and discourses on the alphabet board. It seems that Baba was at first a little reluctant, but as usual, Baba, gave in, he agreed, and then he just, I think, dictated one sentence that I have given up my board or on something, I don't remember the words what, but only one little sentence. I am using this board to show it to American public how I used to use how I dictated God speak. Very good. Thank you, Yaraj. So that is what it was, and thereafter he did not touch the board. These 39 handwritten pages therefore capture the concrete image of one of his human activities that was rarely in evidence after 1927. After 1927, it is rarely in evidence that he signed something, but we have got 2 photographs, I believe, of his signing the charter for the Sufism reoriented, but I believe. And the other one, I think again, is of his signing what is known as his will, when he has given how the trust deed, what he has signed. So besides that, we do not have any record of his using his pen to paper, sort of.
मूल पांडुलिपि और उसके इतिहास के बारे में निश्चित रूप से कुछ ज्ञात नहीं है। शीर्षक पृष्ठ इसे बाबा के स्वयं के हाथ से संभवतः 1925 में 1925 में लिखा जाना प्रकट करता है। इस शीर्षक पृष्ठ की हस्तलिपि रमजू अब्दुल्ला के हाथ की है, जो 1920 के दशक से मेहर बाबा के निकट शिष्यों में से एक थे। 10 जुलाई 1925 से 1.5 वर्ष का अपना लंबा मौन धारण करने के पश्चात मेहर बाबा खड़िया से स्लेटों पर लिखकर मुख्य रूप से संदेशों को व्यक्त करते थे। इसी अवधि में उन्होंने स्वयं अपने हाथ से वह रहस्यमय पुस्तक लिखी थी, जो अभी तक प्रकाशित नहीं हुई है और अब भी रहस्य के घेरे में है। इसे बाबा ने अपनी सर्वाधिक महत्व की पुस्तक कहा है और इसमें आध्यात्मिकता पर विस्तारपूर्ण व्याख्या होने का उल्लेख किया है। फिर 1 जनवरी 1927 से उन्होंने केवल अपने नाम के हस्ताक्षर करने के अलावा लिखना पूरी तरह से त्याग दिया और इसके बाद अपने जीवन के अगले 42 वर्षों में उन्होंने अपनी अभिव्यक्ति या तो वर्णमाला तख्ती के माध्यम से की या फिर हाथ की सांकेतिक भाषा से की। इसलिए ये 39 हस्तलिखित पुस्तक उनके मानवीय क्रियाकलापों के उस एक स्वरूप का मुखरित करते हैं जो 1927 के बाद बिरले ही दिखने को मिला। मूल हस्तलिखित पांडुलिपि अनेकों वर्षों तक मेहर बाबा की बहन मनी एस ईरानी के व्यक्तिगत अभिलेख संग्रह में रखी रही। यद्यपि हमारे पास कोई निश्चित जानकारी नहीं है कि किस प्रकार, कहां से और किसके द्वारा यह अभिलेख उनके हाथों में आया, किंतु यह संभव है कि 1960 के दशक में रमजू ने मेहराजाद में अपनी डायरियां मेहर बाबा को सौंपते वक्त, जब यह 39 पुस्तक की बाबा की स्वयं की हस्तलिखित पांडुलिपि भी उन्होंने सौंपी होगी। शायद उसी वक्त बाबा ने यह अभिलेख मनी को संभालने हेतु दे दिया हो। सच्चाई जो भी हो, पर अभी कुछ ही समय पहले एक नया रहस्य उजागर हुआ है कि इसी पांडुलिपि के लेखन काल के वक्त ही एक और अन्य वृहद पांडुलिपि की रचना की गई थी, जिसका शीर्षक था अनंत विद्या। यद्यपि यह पांडुलिपि बाबा की हस्तलिपि में नहीं है, फिर भी उसमें या तो बाबा द्वारा लिखित इन 39 पुस्तकों का कुछ अंश यथावत जोड़ा गया है या फिर उनका कुछ भाग रूपांतरित कर जोड़ा गया है।
The manuscript was kept for a number of years by Mani S. Irani, Meher Baba's sister, among her personal papers. We have no sure information as to how, from where, or through whom it came into her hands, although it is possible that Ramju himself, when he gave his diaries to Meher Baba in Mehrazad in the 1960s, delivered these handwritten pages at the same time, and that Baba then entrusted them to Mani. So this possibility is open. That's what they are saying. They are trying to locate how this came, how this got unearthed. In any event, it has recently been discovered that certain portions of this text, ये जो यहाँ पे 39 pages का जो text है, उसके certain portions of this text have been incorporated, sometimes verbatim, rubaru, and sometimes in paraphrase, into a much larger manuscript on infinite intelligence that is not in Baba's handwriting, but that presumably dates from the same period in his life and was based on his explanations. ये जिसको हम कंस्ट्रक्टिव एविडेंस बोलते हैं लीगल टर्म में, दे आर कंस्ट्रक्टिंग इट कि भाई ये रूबरू जो बाबा ने अपने हैंडराइटिंग में लिखा है वो ही सब चीजें एक बड़ी जो किताब मिली है, जो यानी मैन्यूस्क्रिप्ट मिला है जो अभी एक्चुअली पब्लिश हो गई है इन्फिनिट इंटेलिजेंस करके, तो उसमें वो ही का वो था। हालांकि वो जो इन्फिनिट इंटेलिजेंस की मैन्यूस्क्रिप्ट थी वो बाबा के हैंडराइटिंग में नहीं है, इट इज नॉट इन बाबास हैंडराइटिंग, बट इवन इंक्लूडिंग दीज राइटिंग, ये तो बाबा के हैंडराइटिंग में है, पर यही चीज जो इन्फिनिट इंटेलिजेंस में लिखी हुई मिली वो बाबा के हैंडराइटिंग में नहीं है। इसके लिए दे आर अस्यूमिंग विद ऑलमोस्ट सर्टेनिटी कि जो भी ये किसी जिसने लिखा है, नोबडी नोज किसकी हैंडराइटिंग में है। देयर वाज अ लॉट ऑफ सर्च गोइंग ऑन फॉर लॉन्ग टाइम कि किसका ये हैंडराइटिंग है, बट दे could not locate as to whose handwriting. So there is a very as I said, a constructive evidence that the entire book called Infinite Intelligence must have been somehow given by Meher Baba himself, and that is why the authorship of Infinite Intelligence has been given to Meher Baba. It says Infinite Intelligence, Meher Baba.
अतः अनंत विद्या नामक इस दूसरे ग्रंथ का आधार भी बाबा के वे स्पष्टीकरण ही है जो उन्होंने अपने इन 39 हस्तलिखित पुष्टों में दिए हैं। अनंत विद्या नामक यह दूसरी वृहद पांडुलिपि भाऊ कलचुरी की कुछ नहीं और सब कुछ नामक कृति से एक रोचक संबंध रखती है। भाऊ की पुस्तक उन बिंदुओं पर विकसित होती है जो बाबा ने स्वयं भाऊ को 1967-68 में अपने कठोर एकांतवास के समय अपनी उंगलियों के इशारों से लिखवाए थे। उस समय बाबा ने मंडली से कहा था कि उन्होंने भाऊ को जो सामग्री उनकी पुस्तक के लिए दी थी वह बाबा की स्वयं की उस रहस्यमय पुस्तक का 10% भाग थी जिसे उन्होंने 40 वर्ष पूर्व स्वयं लिखा था। 1998 में अनंत विद्या नामक पुस्तक की पांडुलिपि जब प्रकाश में आई तो भाऊ ने उसे पढ़ा और तत्काल अनुभव किया कि उसमें उन बिंदुओं का संपूर्ण स्पष्टीकरण था जो बाबा द्वारा 1967-68 में उन्होंने दिए गए थे। इससे ऐसा प्रतीत होता है कि 1920 के दशक में जो कुछ अनंत विद्या नामक पांडुलिपि में दिया गया वही फिर 1967-68 में भाऊ को उनकी कुछ नहीं और सब कुछ नामक कृति के लिए दिया गया। अर्थात ऐसा प्रतीत होता है कि बाबा के अवतरण काल में प्रारंभिक वर्षों में उनके द्वारा उजागर किया गया ज्ञान उनके अवतार काल में अंतिम वर्षों में उन्हीं के द्वारा पुनः दोहराया गया।
The larger manuscript itself, जो जिसकी बात हम infinite intelligence की बात करते हो, the larger manuscript itself bears an interesting relationship to Bhau Kalchuri's The Nothing and the Everything, which develops upon points which Baba dictated to Bhau in 1967-68 during a period of intense seclusion. At that time, Baba told the Mandli that what he had given to Bhau constituted 10% of what he had himself written in the book 40 years earlier. In 1998, when the manuscript on infinite intelligence from the 1920s came to light, Bhau went through it and immediately felt that it contained the full explanation of the points given by Baba to him. आपको शायद याद होगा कि बाबा जब बाबा के अंतिम दिन थे तभी he could not even move his fingers. There was so much of spasms and pain and जो दर्द होता था, फिर भी वो he was very eager to give certain points to Bhauji, and Bhauji would cry and tell Baba कि बाबा अब थोड़ा आप आराम कीजिए, बाद में हम लोग, Baba would say that there is no time is running out and that I am just giving you the points and you keep taking the points. And the points were taken, and then for elaboration and all that, Baba would, of course, Bauji would write the elaborated the thing and then he would read out to Baba and Baba would okay it or make corrections. लेकिन अभी ये कोई points जो बाबूजी को समझ में नहीं आती थी, बाबा बोलते थे कि आई विल टेल यू, आई विल रिवील इट टू यू. और ये मेरा थिंकिंग है कि दिस इज हाउ when Bhau saw all this infinite intelligence manuscript, he at once realized that this is what Baba was talking about to him in 1967-68, what he had already given or somebody had already written in the 1920s. Bhau went through it and immediately felt that it contained the full explanation of the points given by Baba to him. It appears then that some of the same contents on the subject of infinite intelligence were given by Baba in the 1920s and again in the late 1960s, that is, in the opening and the final years of his advent. वो जो बाबा की जो थीम थी इन्फिनिट इंटेलिजेंस और ये सब जो है वो 1920s में जो दी थी वही उन्होंने बाबूजी को पॉइंट स्वरूप पॉइंट के हिसाब से इन द 1960s में दी थी. इट इज पास 7:30. अगर किसी को कुछ प्रश्न पूछना है मराठी में तो पूछ सकते हैं. ओरिजिनल, फॉल्स, रियल. ओरिजिनल इज इन द बियॉन्ड स्टेट ऑफ गॉड. Real is the final, I am God. Yeah, it is the infinite intelligence. It is the I am God, Aham Brahmasmi, Analhak, Soham, self-realization, God realization. वो तो सब लेबल है, लेबल कुछ भी देवे. अनुभव की बात इंपॉर्टेंट है. अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय.